Alrighty, let's go ahead and break this fast, baby. Yo, Amelie's, it's happening. He's about to dig in. You ready for this, bro? Oh, hell yeah! I can't wait to break down those starches like I'm moving and grooving out on the dance floor, baby. How about you? Oh yeah, you know it. I'm gonna break down those dietary fats almost as good as your breakdown after Grellin dumped you last week. Bro, why? Oh, look, here we go. Whoa, what was that? Was that food? I think so. My dude's not even chewing. How are we supposed to boogie if he keeps sucking all this in like he's a vacuum cleaner? Slow down! Chew! Slow down! Yo, what is up? Welcome back to another week of How to Health. My name is Kevin. I run liftandbalance.com, where we take aim at all things health and do it in an odd, weird, interesting, and highly sarcastic manner. Today, we are breaking down something that we do a lot. I mean, in the realm of 1,000+ times a day, a lot. And you could probably count the things you do 1,000+ times a day on one hand. This is a critical component of life, right up there with breathing, sleeping, and paying taxes. We're talking chewing, and why most people are leaving a lot on the table when it comes to leveraging this natural physiological function to its fullest. And that's typically not food. Not too much food left on the table. In fact, food seems to disappear extremely quickly, especially when you're eating at the same table as production team. Savages. So in this video, we are going to be breaking down all things as it pertains to picking food up, putting it in your mouth, what happens while it's there, and how to start optimizing this thing that you do 1,000+ times a day. You ready? Let's bite down. I mean, technically it's bite up, but who's keeping track? First, let's talk about your bite baseline. When was the last time you paid attention to how you actually eat? The last time that you consciously thought about chewing? Or better question, have you ever thought about it? What about the position you're in when you're eating? Are you sitting, standing, or in some discombobulated position on the couch that would have professional contortionists gazing in awe? For the next 24 hours, I want you to conduct a little N of 1 experiment, baselining your current chewing habits. Every time you eat a substantial meal, record things like the position you're in, whether it be sitting, standing, lying, or moving, average number of bites per meal, an average number of chews per bite. All of this can be used to measure both objective and subjective change as you optimize your chow down habits. Speaking of, down, let's start breaking down the perfect bite. And that starts with being in a good position, preferably butt on ground or chair, sitting. Why you should sit down. This is actually a topic I did a whole video on, which you can also find linked below. And this video breaks down why I converted from a lifelong standing eater to a strict ass in seat kind of guy. And at a high level, and covered in much more detail in the aforementioned video, the reasons for this conversion are the following. First, less distractions. When you sit down, you are more focused on your food. You're not pacing, walking, running on a busy street if you're in New York City, multitasking, you are eating. This hones the majority of your attention to your nourishment and plays a key role in decreasing the next reason I made the switch. Less stress. If you've been around this channel, you know we talk about stress and its impacts on our day-to-day function and long-term longevity a lot. Stress, especially in the chronic form, has shown to be a potent accelerator of all things nefarious happening inside our body. Thus, we want to keep stress levels as low and controlled as possible, especially while we're eating. Research has indicated that when we have elevated levels of stress hormones circulating throughout our body and are in a more sympathetic fight or flight nervous system state, we tend to store excess energy in less than optimal places. specifically as visceral fat. This is that deep abdomen fat that accumulates in and around our organs and is thought to be our body's way of keeping energy close, expecting a scenario where it might have to, fight or flight. The kicker here is 99% of the time, there is no physical threat. All of this stress putting us in a fight or flight state is psychologically driven. This is what I like to call evolutionary survival mechanism gone wrong in the modern age. And as you may know, visceral fat, otherwise called the bad type of fat, is highly associated with chronic inflammation and risk of disease. And we cover this topic in more depth in a lot of other videos on this channel. Long story short, we want to limit this to the best of our ability. And we also can't forget, when we are stressed, we tend to make less than optimal food choices, leaning towards highly processed, highly refined, calorie-dense, nutrient-deprived options, which is simply adding fuel to the metabolic fire. And lastly, sitting down lets you be more intuitive with your eating, especially when you clear away all of those distraction devices, the laptops, the cell phones, TVs, and tablets, and simply focus on being grateful for the nourishment you're about to consume. A few deep belly breaths is a great way to put your body in an optimal position for digestion and energy storage. And that's why the perfect bite starts with your ass sitting down. And now that we're in the right position, let's get to the biting thing. How to bite. Not gonna lie. This one's interesting because there are so many different variables at play. And we also have to acknowledge we all have different styles when it comes to biting down. I mean, up. Keep forgetting that one. With environment, type of food, social circumstance, all playing a role in each and every bite. And here is where I tell you it's important to remember that we have these choppers for a reason, because digestion starts in the mouth. And for the most part, the majority of people tend to bite off a tad bit more than they can chew. Don't you love when the metaphorical saying ends up being the literal thing you're trying to say? Most people fall into the category of taking too big a bites, too little chews, and sending large chunks of food down the hatch, leaving it to the stomach and intestines to sort everything out. I mean, does it really matter if we finish our meal in 15 bites or 30 bites if we eat the same exact amount of food? And the answer to that is probably yes. And this is for two main reasons: energy consumption and nutrient absorption. First, less bites can lead to us eating more. Research that looked into whether smaller bites or sips of food affected meal size when eaters were distracted found that people who ate pre-specified smaller bites ate 30% less on average than people who ate as they normally did. But what about when the food's, actually in our mouth? A 2015 study found that decreased mouthful volume resulted in a greater amount of chews per weight of food, suggesting that change in mouthful volume could be a useful behavioral modification in the regulation of energy consumption. So let's recap. Smaller bites, more chews, slower eating, happy digestion. You taking notes, production team? Now that we have the bites down, let's crunch a little deeper into this chewing inconvenience. Why you should chew more. Here's a fun fact. On average, we take 7 to 10 chews per bite. Not bad, right? Well, not so much when I tell you that the average recommended chews per bite is somewhere around 30. And of course, chewing yogurt is a little different than chewing some hearty vegetables, but you get the idea. Let me reiterate the point I brought up before. Good digestion starts in the mouth. And this is because there are a series of enzymes in our saliva that begin breaking down food before we even send it down the hatch. For example, an enzyme called amylase breaks down starches, turns them into sugars, which allows your body to absorb them more easily. There's also an enzyme for fat breakdown called lipase. And more times than not, while we eat, we are distracted by the chaos around us and proceed to just start shoveling food down the hatch, getting up for seconds before we've even had the time to taste it. So slow down and chew. A 2011 study published in the Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that people who chewed 40 times per bite, which is unusually high compared to the average 15 chews per bite, ate fewer calories and had lower levels of the hunger hormone ghrelin, which stimulates appetite. And the mythical powers of chewing doesn't stop there. When you chomp down on your food thoroughly, you receive the full benefits of the overall experience. More chewing has been associated with more enjoyment of food. Improved digestion, letting those enzymes do their job and get more surface area of food to break down, thus leading to better nutrient absorption. And some research even points to chewing as a way to relax and reduce levels of stress. Remember that stress thing? Yeah, down is good. And as we alluded to several times here already, chewing slows you down, giving the satiety signal, which is a series of hormones and peptides that get released at different points during digestion, time to do its thing, helping decrease the risk of overeating and all of the discomfort that comes with it. So when I think of the perfect bite, I personally try and make it a habit to sit down, perform a minute of deep belly box breathing to channel the parasympathetic rest and digest nervous system and de-stress the body, remove the distraction devices, and then aim to take bites that fill my mouth no more than half of its full capacity, and chew at least 20 times or until the food is fully pulverized in my mouth. When it comes down to it, no one ever teaches us how to chew. These dynamics of eating that I just went through are always overlooked and are drastically underrated when it comes to their health promoting effects. And of course, when you're done, remember to get up and go on that 10-minute leisurely stroll and put the icing on the digestion cake. Okay, that wasn't a good example right there. Scratch that from the record. You can't bat 1,000. I mean, come on. That's what I got. As always, let me know what comments, questions, any random thoughts you have down below. Woo! Good show, everyone. Good show. Now time for that post-shoot snack. You thought I was going to eat this standing up, didn't you? Come on now.